The Bold and the Beautiful, August 17th, 2026 episode analysis. The August 17th, 2026 episode of The Bold and the Beautiful continues the emotional fallout from the explosive events in Monaco, and the consequences of Sheila Carter's presence are proving far more damaging than anyone could have expected. What makes this episode especially powerful is that the characters are no longer dealing with the immediate shock of what happened. They are now beginning to understand what those events mean for their relationships, their families, and their futures. At the center of the tension is Finn's decision to allow himself to become entangled in a situation involving Sheila, while Steffy struggles with the emotional devastation left behind. Ridge remains furious. Steffy searches for comfort in an unexpected place. Carter carries his own heartbreak, and Taylor finds a rare moment of warmth with Deacon. Ridge's anger toward Finn continues to dominate the emotional landscape. For Ridge, Sheila's presence in Monaco is not simply an unfortunate coincidence or an isolated mistake. Sheila represents years of danger, manipulation, trauma, and destruction for the Forster family. Ridge has always been deeply protective of Steffy, and when he sees his daughter suffering because of a situation involving Finn and Sheila, his anger becomes almost impossible to contain. From Ridge's perspective, Finn should have understood exactly how serious the consequences could be. The deeper issue is trust. Ridge is not simply angry because Sheila appeared in Monaco. He is angry because Finn's connection to the situation has forced everyone to question whether Steffy can truly feel safe in her own marriage. Finn may believe that his intentions were misunderstood, but intentions are becoming less important than consequences. Steffy is the person who has been left emotionally shattered, and Ridge cannot ignore that reality. This creates an enormous problem for Finn. Even if he insists that he never wanted to hurt Steffy, he now has to face the fact that his decisions have damaged the foundation of their relationship. Ridge is unlikely to forgive quickly, especially when he believes Finn should have known better. The anger between them therefore feels like something much larger than a temporary family disagreement. It represents a clash between Finn's desire to handle Sheila in his own way and Ridge's belief that Sheila should never again be given an opportunity to enter Steffy's life. For Steffy, however, the situation is even more painful because she cannot simply turn her anger toward one person and move on. Her emotions are complicated by love, disappointment, fear, and betrayal. She has spent so much time trying to build a stable life with Finn, yet Sheila remains a haunting presence capable of destroying that stability. The events in Monaco have reopened wounds that Steffy desperately wanted to leave in the past. That is why her encounter with Carter at Forster Creations becomes so significant. Carter is also dealing with heartbreak, and that shared emotional vulnerability creates an unexpected connection between them. Neither Steffy nor Carter appears to have all the answers. Neither is in a position to simply tell the other how to fix everything. Instead, they offer something that both desperately need: understanding. Steffy's decision to lean on Carter is important because she does not necessarily need romance at this moment. What she needs is someone who understands what it feels like to have your future suddenly become uncertain. Carter's own despair gives him a perspective that is different from the people closest to Steffy. He is not approaching her pain simply as her father, husband, or family member. He can recognize heartbreak because he is experiencing it himself. This makes their scenes emotionally compelling. Two people who might normally be focused on their professional responsibilities suddenly find themselves confronting deeply personal pain inside the walls of Forster Creations. The workplace becomes almost like a refuge, a place where they can temporarily escape the chaos outside. There is also something fascinating about the timing of Steffy's connection with Carter. When a character is emotionally devastated, the person who offers comfort can become extremely important. Soap operas have always understood this dynamic. Emotional bonds often develop not because two people intentionally seek a new relationship, but because they discover that someone else understands their pain at exactly the right moment. That does not necessarily mean Steffy and Carter are heading toward romance, but their emotional connection could become increasingly significant if Steffy continues to feel isolated from Finn. Carter may become one of the few people she trusts enough to speak honestly with, and that possibility could create complications later. Carter, meanwhile, is dealing with his own disappointment. His emotional state makes him more receptive to Steffy's vulnerability, but it also means that he may be searching for meaning and connection himself. When two wounded people find comfort in one another, their relationship can become unexpectedly powerful. The danger is that emotional dependence can develop before either person realizes what is happening. Forrester Creations therefore becomes more than just a business setting in this episode. It becomes a place where broken relationships collide and where characters attempt to rebuild themselves. Steffy arrives carrying the weight of Monaco, while Carter is already carrying his own emotional burden. Their conversation becomes a reminder that even powerful, successful people can find themselves completely lost when their personal lives collapse. While Ridge, Steffy, Finn, and Carter remain surrounded by emotional turmoil, Taylor's story provides one of the episode's softer contrasts. Taylor shares a warm moment with Deacon after he surprises her with a thoughtful gift. At first glance, this storyline might appear disconnected from the larger Monaco drama, but emotionally it serves an important purpose. The episode is filled with betrayal, anger, heartbreak, and uncertainty. Taylor and Deacon's interaction introduces a moment of genuine kindness. Deacon's thoughtful gesture matters because it shows a different side of him. Rather than reacting to conflict or becoming consumed by his own problems, he chooses to make Taylor feel appreciated. The gift itself may be simple, but the emotional message behind it is much larger. Deacon is showing Taylor that he sees her, values her, and wants to bring some happiness into her life. For Taylor, that warmth may be particularly meaningful because she has been surrounded by complicated emotions. Seeing her experience a genuine moment of happiness creates a striking contrast with Steffy's suffering. Taylor has always been deeply connected to her children's lives, so it is difficult to imagine that she can completely separate her own emotions from everything happening around Steffy. Deacon's presence offers her something different, a temporary escape. This is one of the strengths of the episode. Instead of presenting every storyline at the same emotional intensity, the show allows moments of tenderness to exist alongside major conflict. The contrast makes the darker scenes feel heavier while making the lighter scenes feel more precious.